Ladies and gentlemen,
All these mons suck except for regular Gudra.
you've heard it here first. The tier list is over. But anyways, we are here. Um, we're here with the tier list of the potential franchises, and basically, it's me and the dog Jay. Jay, you already gave a little bit of an intro, but hit him up. Let him know what's going on.
I mean, if y'all don't like facts, you're gonna want to tune out of this, bro. Because I'm not here to stroke on some cocks and lick some nuts, man. I'm here to tell you guys how it is, man.
All right. So this is gonna be a two-pronged way we're looking at this, right? We're looking at two different things. One is the mon itself and what it can provide to a team. Also, if a coach used it last season, which obviously a majority of these did, looking at how they used it and all that. And then two, the level of the coach. Like, obviously, with JC franchising Gudra, we don't really have to worry too much about that. JC's been consistent and always making playoffs, but something like Biff franchising Chiyu. Chiyu's better than Gudra, but Biff didn't have the greatest season, so it's like it gives us a way to look at it two different ways. So anyway, I think I'll do it in order because I want to save the newcomers franchises for last. So let me move Dragonite, Mawile, and Kyurem to the end. But we can start with the first one, Breloom. Alright, how do we feel about Tabs in the Breloom? He got it towards the end of last season, but it was doing alright.
I mean, I don't mind the Breloom. I saw Tabs play in GBA with it, and he brought a crazy focus punch set that literally won him the game. So, I mean, I think Tabs is going to do all right. I mean, I think, again, there are a lot of ways around this mon. I'm interested to see if it's going to be a Terra Captain or not. I'm assuming it is.
Oh?
But, can't leak it here. But no, I think Tabs and Breloom will be all right. I think they'll be able to make some things happen. I think he'll have pretty decent kills at the end of the season.
So we're saying all right or basic? Because you said you used the word all right.
I'll go all right.
All right. Putting respect on the kid. And yeah, I mean Tabs, he's known to bring some funky stuff at times. And like his game against Croc when he brought the Poison Heal sub focus punch set. So I think Tabs can definitely switch it up with Breloom. There's a lot of different things you can do, and also just the threat of Spore is also just always there in the back. Speaking of another Spore mon, we have the other mushroom, the Brute. Now this definitely has to be a Terra Captain for Croc to franchise this, I feel. But on the off chance it's not a Terra Captain, how would we feel about this?
If it's not a Terra Captain, I have to go corny. I think. I mean, if it is a Terra Captain, I would go basic, just because Croc's team was centered around Brute Bonnet being able to do what Brute Bonnet can do, and that's how it got so many kills. So unless he's drafted the same exact way with the same Sun team, and he's gonna get this thing in, and it's gonna start loaded dice bullet seeding or whatnot, and then it has the potential to Terra Poison, I think that's the only thing that makes it basic. So I think he has to do two things with it for it to be basic. Otherwise, I think it is pretty corny.
So the thing is, though, this season Brute's rocking out with the triple Terra. So unlike last season where he just had the Dark and Poison, granted that's really all you need. But if he does pair it with the Sun, like you said, he can do the Terra Fire, which could be saucy. But I would pretty much have to agree. I think Brute is definitely corny, if not a Terra Captain. And although with Terra it's very strong, like we saw this last season, it's kind of like you said, where if you're not pairing it with that Sun, it loses out on a lot. Because with Brute, you don't really want to run Booster because you're really just only ever boosting your attack. So it's like you might as well just Band or Life Orb at that point. But yeah.
Right.
Next up, as kind of mentioned in the intro, we got Biff and the Chiyu. So I'll take the first one. I'll take the first little bit. So he said in his announcement that he's most likely. We gotta change C to copium. All right, we'll do corny slash copium. Um, so with so the thing about Chiyu is that with Terra, this thing was probably more broken than Urshifu because this thing came in halfway through the season and got 40 kills, which, simple math, they would have finished with 80, and Urshifu finished with 73. So Chiyu was doing more than Pulp, and it was doing pretty much more than Urshifu, and it was on a coach that was doing a lot worse than B. But he said this time around he's looking to drop the Terra. So with that, I guess, in mind, how do we feel about Chiyu with no Terra? You used a season 3.
So this is my thing, right? With the Chiyu being used in draft is a lot harder than it being used in ladder, which is why I think it needs the Terra in draft, because in ladder, I mean, you get stopped by flash fire mons. I mean, it only has dark pulse and flamethrower overheat. That's what you get. I mean, you can run psychic, but most of the time, I mean, if they have anything that resists, I mean, you're kind of beat with Chi-Yu, especially with it dying to most priority moves as well. And then, I mean, if you dark pulse a fucking Lucario, you're justifying it, and you're literally sacking your whole team. I mean, I just can't with no Terra, and I think a reason it got a lot of kills is because he also paired it with sticky webs, which was very good for Chi-Yu because you didn't have to run Scarf on it. You could click any move you wanted to, including Nasty Plot, which was allowing him to sweep teams. Once he got webs up and a mon that couldn't kill Chi-Yu, he got a free Nasty Plot up, and you could sweep the entire rest of the team.
Right.
So I mean, I think with no Terra, I think this mon is definitely losing a lot of its value. Because the Terra Fairy went hard, bro. I mean, it went stupid. So I mean, I wouldn't put it in corny / copium just because of the fact that it's Chi-Yu. So I would probably put it in basic for Biff.
All right, I can get behind that. Chi-Yu is definitely one of those mons where a lot better in ladder than it is in a draft, and it's like you said, if you're not, it's kind of like Brute, and not to the same extent, but like Brute, you kind of want some team supporting options, and if you don't have them, Chi-Yu, like, don't get me wrong, it's still gonna just kill everything, but it's gonna require a lot more positioning and a lot more game awareness, and I feel like Biff at times gets in his own head and can let that, like, sometimes he just gets in his head and just, I don't know what it is. He'll be ahead, he'll be winning a game, and he'll just fucking lose. I don't get it, but having last season with Chi-Yu, he was doing very well. Losing the Terra will be not good, but I think opening that door for something else, not spending, 21 points on one mon, I think that'll open the door for his team and maybe allow something else to carry the team a bit. But
yeah, I mean, you can't expect it to have the same value as it did without Terra. You just can't.
Right. And next up, we probably the first sauce one, Dragapult and Josh. I mean, the only thing that outfragged it was the Urshifu, and it's not saying much, but Dragapult with Terra, probably one of the most broken mons ever. I don't know if Josh is doing Terra or not. We'll have to see, but I think regardless if Pult Terras or not, I mean, it's Dragapult. It's still the best mon in Draft League, and having it for a second season in a row is definitely a very strong thing to have.
I mean, yeah, I mean, you can't. I mean, it really doesn't matter who franchises Dragapult, bro. It's an S tier mon. I mean, it can do literally everything on the board. It gets everything under the sun in terms of mixed attacking and faster than 99% of the entire roster. So,
yeah,
I mean, you can't go wrong with Dragapult.
Yeah, I mean, there's not really much to say here. It's Dragapult. Yeah, I mean, I'll be interested to see what he pairs with, though, because last season he had the Tuscan Pult, and that was going crazy, so I'll be interested to see how he pairs with it this time. I think that because Josh always got something cooked up, so it's like I don't know. Does he pair it with more walls? Because last season low key Josh and B had very similar teams in like the nature of what they wanted to do. Just two heavy ass hitters and then nothing but fucking meat shields behind them. But
Yeah, or just sack them on.
Yeah, literally.
You can go back out into it.
So I'll be interested to see how Josh changes it up this season with the poll. But next up we have the first Gudra, the critically acclaimed better Gudra, some would say. How do we feel about that, Jay?
I mean, I think it was a staple for Nick. I think it helped out Nick a lot. I mean, all in all, it's a very good mon.
Yeah.
It has fantastic typing, fantastic bulk, and then it has, you can spread it. It's a mixed attacker as well. So I mean, I would put it in all right for Nick. He knows how to use it. He brings it every game pretty much, and he runs different sets on it. So it's not like he's just bringing, assault vest, or he's bringing curse. Sometimes he'll bring specs, sometimes he'll bring something else. So I don't mind it. I think it should be an all right for Nick. I definitely think that it's a very easy mon to have a team around. So I definitely think that would be all right.
So we've been saying this with every mon up until now, but the prospect of Terra, would that change? Would that put it to sauce for you, or do you still keep it all right?
I mean, I wouldn't Terra it personally. I honestly think it's might be better without the Terra, because you can give that Terra to someone else. And on top of that mod, it's not really going out there to, thrash everybody. It's mostly going out there to, and like if you tear it away from steel, you open yourself up to things like toxic, to other things like that. So you have to run rest. So I mean, all in all, I would leave it how it is and save your Terra for a different mod.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, I would tend to agree. Even though Nick, went 2-12 again. His games were a lot closer. He brought a lot of people to game threes. He was very much on the edge of winning a lot of those games. It's just always fell a little bit short.
He's just got to lock up the second half, bro. If he can lock up the second half, he'll be fine.
And I mean, I said it earlier, but I do think shorter seasons tend to favor the lower end coaches, because if they just win 3 or 4 games, they're in the playoff picture. Granted, just less games to mess around in, which is, I guess, the downside. But upside is, you win 4 games, you're kind of in the playoff picture. You win 5 games, I feel like you're in a 9-week season. If you win 5 games, as long as your differential isn't super shit, I mean, should be in the playoff picture for sure. So
yeah, no, I agree. It's definitely a better feeling when if you go down 0-2 in the first 2 weeks, you're not out of it. You're definitely not out of it. But when you're looking at a 14-week season and you're looking at who you have to play, and it's the top 4 coaches twice, I mean, you're kind of frowning upon that. But.
Yeah, for sure. All right, next up we have yours. Let's put in sauce, because that's where we know it's coming from. But I guess run it. Did the recent buffs change your thoughts on franchising Gudra, or was this always the plan coming into this season?
I mean, it wasn't the plan going into it, but I mean, when you're building a team, you can build any team you want, and Gudra can fit into that team. It's very good. With the addition of Knockoff and Scald, it gets that much more annoying to deal with. On top of it just being an absolute fucking wall. For me, it works perfectly. I mean, it might not be sauce, but I mean, you can't go wrong with Gudra for me. And for me, it's just a staple in my team. I can have it in my team. I can bring it to a game. I can not bring it to a game. And for it being, 12 points, I definitely think, I can't go wrong with Gudra. Now, I'm not saying these shitters out here can go wrong with Gudra, because they can. I've seen a lot of them, absolutely shit the bed. So, so I mean, for me, it works out perfectly. If I get the draft the way I want to draft, it's gonna be a pivotal role in that team.
All right. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's like you said. Gudra is the glue to most teams, unironically. Good 80 base speed is really good. Just being that bulky, especially, I mean, realistically, if you just brain dead it out, you just run Assault Vest every week and just go full Fizz Def. I mean, Gudra is just super bulky, and like we mentioned earlier, the addition of Scald and Knockoff, it's hard to switch around it now because you have the Sludge Wave for Fairies still, and then, you know, obviously nothing really wants to lose its item, so choosing between getting knocked off or scalded every turn is going to be really fucking annoying with this thing. And honestly, I feel like with those two buffs, I feel like even though Hisuian Gudra has like the type advantage, I feel like Gudra has the move pool advantage now. So I'll be interested to see how the two Gudras fare again in this season.
I mean, Hisuian Gudra does have more weaknesses than regular Gudra, but regular Gudra can be toxic.
That's true. That's so true. You seeing the Terror Captain coming out for the Gudra?
Fuck no.
Oh, okay, okay. Listen, you know, he wants that poison type, and he's always been wanting it. You might have to give it to him, my man.
Yeah, they should have made him Dragon Poison. It'd be fire.
Facts. Anyway, we're up to, you know, someone that you think is a fraud. But we're up to Sal, the Iron Bundle. Hit me with it. What do you think about Sal in the bundle, man? What do you think about
Listen,
him?
man, I think it's good, but I think Sal blaming Iron Bundle for missing Hydro Pumps is a coach's fault.
Yeah.
I think losing to a team with Dragapult fucking Great Tusk when you have a Iron Bundle is absolutely fraudulent. I mean, but I would put it in all right. I think Sal is going to be able to turn it around this season with the bundle. As long as you keep him away from Josh, I think you should, you know, have a little bit of a better road. I mean, he's still going to get first rounded, but you know, playoffs are playoffs, bro. You can't deny that he's making them.
Oh, okay. So, you know, he's always making playoffs, but never making out of the first round is what we're hearing.
All right, but you can put it behind Gudra though.
Oh,
you can put it behind Gudra.
Man, what about the other one? What about the other one?
Yeah, go ahead and slide it one more. Man.
All right, do you want Gudra up here, or?
Yeah.
All right. All right. Let's order it real quick. We putting Hisuian over Breloom or no?
Yeah.
Okay. And then are we putting Chiyu over Brute or what?
100%.
Okay. Damn, we're being pretty generous here, Jay. We might have to start hitting some slander soon. But
I said corny for Brew Bonnet, bro. You're the one that put it in basic.
All right. Well, you said with Terra, it's basic. All right, I'll put it in corny then. I'll put it in corny. All right.
I don't know if it has Terra yet, though, man. You don't know.
That's fair. I mean, listen. Last season, we all were hating on the Brute, and he's throw it down. So maybe we're just slandering it again for no reason, Jay. I don't know.
Maybe.
But here we have the first of two Kirams, Mnaz and the Kiram Black, going back to Russia. How do we feel about this?
Kiram Black's the only one in corny / copium.
Oh, I was not expecting this.
For sure.
So,
for sure.
Hit me with it. Why is Kiram Black corny?
For sure. I mean, I'm going, dude. I mean, if I'm going playoff performance, bro. I mean, the Mon did, negative damage. Did negative. I mean, he gave Tanner a free ride. How can we excuse that?
Oh, so just because of playoffs, it's corny and copium. I mean, at that point, we might as well just put it in dicks.
Oh, yeah, I didn't say all that in Naz. That's on Plaz.
Oh.
No, Plaz, you made a decision, man.
Listen, I'm just saying, of all the Mons that go into corny and copium, I was not expecting Kiram Black down here.
I'm putting him in there, man. I'm putting him in there.
So, are we able to walk past playoffs or no?
I think it'll be, the highest I'll put it is basic, bro. That's the highest I'll put it.
Damn.
And I'm gonna be honest, bro. That division, it looks a little rougher. Definitely looks a little bit rougher than mine and Tanner's. So I don't know. You got a lot of good coaches out there, bro. If you're not, if you're not bringing them boots and they getting them rocks up, motherfucker taking 25 every time it hits the fucking field.
Listen, man, what if he cheats and just tears it? You know what I mean? What if he just says, fuck it?
Can you even do that? I thought it was no terror.
Well, that's what I'm saying. What if he cheats?
Oh, I mean, you know, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. You know what I mean?
That's facts. That's facts.
So I'll see it. If I see a D dance pop up, I'll be happy, man. If I see him throw out a D dance.
Alrighty, we're on to Manaphy and the dog Chase. Obviously has the tail glow per usual, but recently getting, I'm gonna close Discord. Recently getting the take heart, which is Calm Mind plus Refresh. How do we feel about Manaphy in general and Chase's ability of using it?
I think it's basic. I think it's basic.
Behind
it could,
TU?
it could, yeah.
Okay.
It could move up to all right. I mean, if it's Terra, I think it's definitely all right. I think that mon with Terra could be crazy because if you're getting a +3 and then moving on to a different move that's stab with Terra, I mean, it's hard. I mean, depending on the matchup base, I mean, it could be very, very hard to deal with this mon.
Yeah, because it also gives you, like you said, once you get +3, Terra is kind of that thing where unless someone makes a crazy mind game, you basically get a guaranteed kill once you get +3. And then if they lose the thing, or the thing that checks Manaphy early in the game, they can't necessarily switch it in, or if it's dead, Manaphy can just kind of win at that point, especially with like a Terra Grass Energy Ball or like a Terra Fairy Dazzling Gleam. Manaphy is definitely very scary. And again, Chase is like, he really liked that bulky, like full bulk, max HP, max defenses with the tail glow. I could see him doing that some games with the take heart in case he wants to dodge some toxics and just set up. Because again, if you do max defense, max HP, and you start take hearting, you're not getting to that peak damage quick, but you are getting set up on both sides. You're max defense, so you're assumingly not taking too much physically, and then once you get 1 or 2 take hearts up, I mean, it's really going to be difficult for teams to break this thing down. And again, with being able to avoid the status either in rain or with take heart, I think Manaphy's actually one of the better, in my opinion, it's always been one of the better water types in draft, but I think especially after take heart, I think it's definitely top 5 in the format now.
I definitely think it's scary. I definitely think it's hard to swap out on because if he goes for a tail glow, you could be fucking smoothed. And otherwise, it's just doing good damage. So I definitely think it's a scary mon, and he can bring it a couple different ways. So.
Alrighty. And the last franchise that's a traditional franchise is Chris and the horse. Obviously, we don't know if this is Terra or not yet, which I feel like with a mon like Spectre really changes the placement of it. But I guess we'll start off without Terra. How do you feel about Spectre, and how did you feel Chris used it last season?
I mean, how many kills did he get? I don't even know.
I'll put up.
You got that
quick.
pulled up?
Yeah, you keep chirping though. You keep chirping.
I mean, I'd put it in basic. Again, it's one of those mons that is very good on the ladder. It's not as good in draft. Like I like both of the Gudras absolutely wall this thing unless it's terrifying, but even then it's still getting walled. Based on the sheer just like relying on it has to get +1. So you have to bring it in on a low mon and it has to get +1. And like scarfing that mon or spexing that mon is very difficult to do. With if you lock yourself in a shadow ball, you have normal types that are immune, or you have dark types that can come in and take it. So I mean I think it has to be Terra. Otherwise it definitely is just a basic mon for me.
Okay. So Spectre last season, 36 games, 14 sets. It came to every game for him, and it went 44 and 25. I believe that's like top. It's definitely top 10 kills, but I don't know if it's top 5. But yeah, Spectre. I feel like Chris used it very well in the first half of the season, and then like obviously as the season kind of like fizzled out towards like the middle to the end, um, that was kind of, I guess, very stringent. I don't even know if that's a word, but it was very based around Spectre and Lopunny. And when they weren't doing the work, nothing else really was, especially after he made all of those trades that he did. He did the Terra Electric, which is cool. He's not really going to have that option going into next season, because if he does make it a Terra, it only gets one now. So if we do see the return of Terra Spectre, 99% likely going to see the fighting again, just so Spectre can hit everything it needs to. I don't agree 100%. I do think Spectre is definitely a very strong mon in draft, because again, the two things that can beat it: ghosts and dark types. Or not, normal and dark types. And when your game plan is just that simple, just kill the normal dark type and Spectre can win a game, I think it puts a lot of pressure on you in prep, because if you don't have a good normal or dark type, you feel forced to bring it. But if it's a lower tier, like me with Dunsparce, the fact I had to bring a Dunsparce just to try to wall a Spectre is definitely, it forces you to play a lot differently just to prevent him from getting the boosts.
So here's my thing: is you're saying only a normal and dark type can beat it, but it's just not true because of how frail that mon is.
He's got a base 100 HP, my man.
Bro, it's getting destroyed. On top of 90% of mons getting knockoff, that mon is getting hurt.
You're not wrong. Not wrong on that front.
So that's why I think it's basic.
Listen, fair enough. Or is it behind Manaphy basic, or is it?
I would put it behind Manaphy. If I was going up against a team, I would much rather fear a Manaphy with +3 than a Spectre that just killed a mon and got +1.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. And I misspoke earlier, but this is the true last normal franchise, and Tornadus and B. So obviously, his team was it was the 1.5 man show. It was the Urshifu, and then Torn would look around and do stuff sometimes. But this thing hit a lot of focus blasts against you in the quarterfinals. So how do you feel about Torn?
It did. I mean, he's got to adapt to using Torn more and better. Torn is a very, very good mon.
One would say the best mon in draft league, behind like Dragapult and like Valiant and Chin Pao.
100%. But the way he used his team was very, when can we get back in Urshifu? And you can tell by the reflection of the kills he has, which, I mean, it got him where he needed to go.
Right.
So it worked. I'm just saying Tornadus wasn't a threatening part of that lineup. I think Amoonguss being able to put things to sleep, bringing in Urshifu, his walls in terms of, Orthworm being able to shed tail into Urshifu were more pivotal than Tornadus could have been for him. I think if he brought Tornadus differently and spun it around a little bit and used it a little bit better, he definitely could have done a lot better in the season. So I think overall the mon is all right, but until I see that he's making adjustments with it and he's not reliant, because he doesn't have Urshifu anymore, or if he may be drafting it, but it will lose the Terra, so it's not as good.
Yeah.
So you can't just rely on that mon. So for me, I'd put it in basic, but I think as the season goes on, I think he has the ability to adapt. So I think it'll move up probably half of the season.
Are we putting it B? Where are we putting it in basic?
I would put it at the top.
Oh, top of it. All right. Giving respect to the B man. Gotta love to see that. Yeah, I mean, B, last season is not really indicative of what he's capable of. Even though this is technically the best season he's had, I guess, well, regular season wise, because season 3 he made semifinals. But B is definitely a very good coach, and I think because he was just so like so tunnel vision into Urshifu. I think having a more well balanced team can definitely give him the edge, because I think when he had his season 3 team with things like Mega Aerodactyl and Sneasler, gives you a lot more variety of like things you can do. And Torn is one of those mons where when you don't just use it as a bulky pivot every week, it can do a lot. I mean, offensively, this thing hits very hard. Getting access to Bleak Wind Storms so you don't have to hit Hurricanes is super nice. The chance of lowering speed is ridiculous, 30% Scald, essentially. And I mean, he has the second pick overall as of now. Obviously, today, everyone's going to be, the top 4 are going to be announcing their picks, which will, most likely just be 1, 2, 3, 4. But even then, having a top 6 pick in a draft of 20 coaches, he can definitely pair something super scary with the Torn, like he did last season with the Urshifu. So
the draft right now is, I'm assuming, Tanner, you, me, Josh.
Assuming, I know I'm taking the highest pick that Tanner's not. So if Tanner takes 1, I'm taking 2.
Okay, I'm obviously taking 3.
All right, so
that
yeah.
moves Josh if he wants 4 to 4.
Yeah, so again, it will most likely be that. So B will probably be the 6th pick. But even then, with how many Mons we allowed in this season, it's not going to be hard to find something that can pair very well with Torn. Like if I don't want to get too into it, but I mean, just looking at the 18 tier alone, Mega Alakazam, Shinpao, Darkrai, Darmgalar, Fluttermane. Pairing Fluttermane with this thing would be absolutely insane. Valiant, Gambit, Pilates, Melmetal, Ogerpon, not getting that, and then Palafin. Like just with that 18 tier alone, you pair Torn with any one of those things, and shit gets scary real quick. And just based on his draft position, he's basically guaranteed one of those. So I think just seeing what's around in 18 when he gets to him, he can definitely pair Torn with something pretty evil. But
no, for sure. I can agree with that.
Now we're on to some of the more, I guess, exciting ones. You know what? We're going to save Jake for last. Just because he's technically played before. And I think he will be the most interesting one to talk about. So first up, we have Halakor and the Mega Mawile. Very interesting that Mega Mawile has never been legitimately drafted. It has only ever been franchised. Last time it was used by New, which we all know how that went. But to New's credit, if I pull up the thing real quick, Mawile went 23 and 27, and considering like how not good his season was, that was a good thing to just rely on and be like an anchor for the team. So if someone as struggled as much as New used it to pretty decent success, I think even though Halakor's new, not, you know what I mean, he's newer, he has a little bit of experience with Draft League, with Knicks League. I would definitely be, it's a weird one, because I think in terms of what Mawile can do, it should be sauce or alright, but I feel like just because he's a newer player, it's gonna, and Mega Mawile can be very much about positioning at times, because again, it's pretty reliant on Sucker Punch at times, and having a Mon that's just, it's gonna Sucker Punch, he's gonna be running into a lot of Will-O-Wisp next season, a lot of status, and I feel like that could be his downfall in some important moments. But how do you feel about it?
I think it's all right. Tanner said he has previous experience using this in a different draft, and it has performed well for him. I think Mawile is a very, very, very threatening Mon. With Sucker Punch, and I mean, even if he wants to go a Trick Room route with it, it could get even more dicier. So And I think all in all, because nobody has really played against Mawile. So I think other than, the top 4 coaches, I think people are going to be very caught off guard by Mawile, especially with someone who has used it before. So I think it'll have some success this season. Overall, I mean, if you're thinking the mind game of he's going to click Sucker Punch, but then he clicks Swords Dance, I mean, it goes vice versa with you thinking they're going to click an attack or not. It could get scary. So I would put it in A.
All right. Where do you want it in A?
Yeah, I put it on the bottom.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, these are gonna be a little bit harder just because it's just one of those things where we don't have a lot of info on them. So just seeing where they're gonna be, where we anticipate them to be, is gonna be interesting. But yeah, Mega Mawile, definitely a big threat. The one that I'm personally the most interested in is Base Kyurem, because this thing can Terra and Dragon Dance, which I think we'll be seeing both a lot next season. How do you feel about Base Kyurem?
The Mon, very, very good. Very, very good. I think in terms of the new players franchise, I think this is the best one. Because of how just good it is, how raw talent it is what I would say. It's just a good Mon. I mean, it's not weak to ice. It's neutral. It gets access to D-Dance. It can go substitute. It can toxic, whatever. I mean, it's got very good bulk on top of already being able to hit things hard as shit. So I think this is the best out of the new players franchises. I think it is a very smart decision, especially from someone, as I know, Vixen doesn't have a ton of knowledge going into competitive Pokemon playing. So I mean, I definitely think it is a good decision. Off the fact that it's Vixen alone, I would put it in A. I don't know how she plays. I can't say it's basic just because, she could suck.
Right.
Because that Mon gives you the ability to not suck just based on the Mon. You could literally just click buttons with that Mon.
So where are we thinking?
I would put it above Bundle because Sal sucks.
Oh.
But yeah, that's where I would put it.
Yeah. I feel like because of the way Kyurem's been buffed in Gen 8, a lot of people do forget, but you mentioned it, the sub-toxic roost set. That's a real thing because it has pressure, and this thing is a real, I mean, if I just pull up its stats real quick, I mean, like...
Oh, and by the way, Kyurem Black sucks.
Okay, we just had to throw that in there again. But yeah, just looking at the stats, I mean, with pressure and that ridiculous HP stat, I mean, even uninvested, like, you're basically hitting 400. I mean, that's a ton of HP. And again, with the prospect of Terra, this thing gets pretty scary pretty quick. And Vixen doesn't have the greatest draft position for round 1 at least. Vixen is sort of at the tail end, but I think that can also work to her benefit because, again, she can kind of just see what people are drafting, pair something pretty nice with Kyurem, and then she gets like a pseudo wheel pick of sorts, and then, she'll have like 2 things to pair with it, a good 3-man core, and then she can just work around it. Yeah, I would agree with you. I think Kyurem is definitely the smartest of the new franchises because just what it can do.
Sure.
Last up, we have Jake, the question mark on everyone's mind, one would say. I have everyone's team that's ever played in Big Juice, and his Season 1 team is right here. A little throwback action for us, but he's accustomed to using the dragons. In Season 1, he had Chomp and Mence, and to my knowledge, Chomp wasn't doing the most on his team, but I do remember Mence putting in a lot of work back then. I do remember Mence doing a lot for him. Obviously Dragon Flying, similar typing. Mence is a bit faster, which I guess is the downside to Dragonite, but you are getting a Mon that is just living any one hit. And again, with the same thing as Kiram, the prospect of Terra, this is a very scary mon. I mean, Dragonite, pretty much, I believe, to most people, definitely like a top 10 Terramon in Draft League. And again, kind of like mons like Bundle, it's very brain dead because, even though Dragonite can do a lot, if you want to, you can just brain dead it out and just run Dragon Dance, Terra Normal, Extreme Speed every week, and you're just getting value off that alone.
Is it me?
Yeah, you good? You good?
Okay, so I'm gonna put this mon at the bottom of basic. That's where I would put it.
Okay.
And the reason why is Dragonite, very, very good mon. I think you have to be able to build around it. I think there are a lot of things that make this mon not good. If it's Terra, I'd put it in the bottom of A. If he decides to tear it, I would put it at the bottom of A. The reason it's at the bottom of B is because, one, you have to bring boots. You have to. I mean, if you come in on rocks and you're losing the multi-scale, unless you have stupid clearance, stupid hazard removal, you have to bring boots. On top of, if this mon gets burned, it is no longer good. If this mon gets parried,
Terra Normal Facade.
If it gets parried, this mon is loses a shit ton of its value. If this mon E-speeds, normal type or ghost types counter it. I think this mon can, if you plan on bringing this mon with Dragon Dance, E-speed, Dragon Claw, whatever, every week, you're going to lose. I mean, I say that, but I know Jake isn't a bad player. I know he is a decent player. I have nothing against Jake. I think the reason Dragonite has gone this far without showing any prominence in our league is those reasons. I mean, if it's Terra, very good on you. I think it should be Terra. If not, I mean, you're opening yourself up to hidden power ices. You cannot switch in this mon. If you lose the multi-scale, then this mon loses a lot of its value. So I mean, I don't know. I have to see him use it in the way he builds around it, for it to become more viable for me.
That's fair. Yeah, to go back to what you said, yeah, Jake is definitely not bad. I mean, there's a reason I put him in the last little section here, so we can talk about him last, because, before he decided to leave in Season 1, shit happens, but before he decided to leave, he was doing very well. I believe he was like 3 or 4-0, and then he just caught 2 losses, and then, I guess IRL stuff happened, but, yeah, I mean, he was one of the few people that beat you Season 1. I didn't even beat you Season 1, but Jake was one of the few people that beat you in Season 1, and then you went on to win the chip. So, I mean, Jake, definitely a very capable coach. I mean, again, if I pull over a Season 1 team again, this team was very weak to ice. Like, ice moves kind of 6-0'd him, but, he still played around it. He had the Registeel and Scavalier. I feel like his team was pretty offensive. It didn't have a lot of bulk, but he managed to use it pretty well. And I think getting something inherently bulkier with Dragonite, pairing it with a better team potentially, can definitely go a long way. If I were to look at the divisions real quick, gotta pull them up.
Oh, our division is I see. All right, so if I look at our division, right?
All right, hold on.
See.
I've
Where is it at? Announcements?
I have it right here.
Are you pulling it up on stream?
Oh shit! Hold on.
All right, there it is. That's your host, everybody. There's your host.
Listen, all right. Shit happens, mama. I need this. I got screen sharing Discord. It's about to look real weird. All right. This.
Jesus Christ, bro. You got enough Discords?
Listen, all right. We're not talking.
And I'm also echoing.
Just meet the stream. Are we good?
All right, there we go.
All right.
Are we good?
Yeah, I'm good. Are you good?
I think so.
Okay.
Maybe not. So I think, all in all, in our division, I think coming out of it, because we're taking 5-5.
5-5.
I vouch for that. I think it'll be very good for the league. I think it'll be very good for people who haven't made playoffs, because we're guaranteed at least, 2 new playoff arrivals, at least?
Pretty much, because, I mean, if we're just looking at history, I mean, in my conference, it's probably going to be me, Emez, Josh, and Sal. Then yours, I would say the guaranteed ones are probably you, Tanner, and I would say probably B is like a guaranteed, and then Croc is like a high contender, but I would say you and Tanner's like 100%, and then B's probably like a 90% for me.
So this is why I do like my division, because there is a strong race. I think all in all, it should be me, Tanner, Jake, B, and then it could be a toss-up. I don't know how Shady plays, but Croc can play well.
Don't forget Noah.
Did I say Noah?
Yeah.
Noah can play well.
Chase?
And Chase
That's
has
a dog.
the potential to play well. He's got to get over that pussy mindset of, I'm going to lose this game, so I'm not going to try.
That's
That
right.
is the most bitch-made mindset I've ever heard in my life.
Call him out, Jay. Call him out. Come on.
He plays well. There are a lot of games where he's making a very, very good decision, and there are games where he goes in there and you can tell he looks like fucking dog shit because he thinks one mon beats his entire team, which is fucking stupid. And if you're drafting that way, you suck.
Oh.
But my only problem is so the bottom 2 I think are going to be Preston and Vixen.
Okay.
Until I see Vixen play, obviously I won't know by that. Preston, all of his drafts have been very fucking weird.
No, season 3 he had a good team until he traded away. All right. Season 3 he
Yeah.
was cooking.
Yep, absolutely. But the fucking Terra Ninjask fucking Final Gambit, what the fuck was that?
He was cooking, my man.
Mon's got 50 HP and we're using Final Gambit. Jesus. So, but I think if Vixen shows up and plays well, I think it gives a lot of people, the bottom 4 of our division, a lot of chance to fight. I don't think there's going to be anybody going 0-9. I don't think there's going to be anybody going 1-9. I think it's going to be good games for my division. I think it's going to be good games for your division. I think the worst games are going to be, me and Tanner versus some of the bottom teams. They're going to be a little bit of a snooze fest, but I've seen upsets and I've taken upsets. I've been upset before.
Right.
So, I mean, I think it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, should be a good season, and I think for the most part, I agree with a lot of these franchises. I think Kiram and Copium is a little crazy, but
Sucks.
What?
Is it the mon or is it the coach? That's what it comes down to.
Oh, damn. I mean, listen, Em has beat you in playoffs 2 times in a row.
Yeah, all I know is that man's on the other side of the division. So unless he's seeing me, he's seeing me in finals.
Oh, bro said we're safe unless he makes it all the way. Bro.
Man, fuck that dude. Bro plays his fucking heart out. Bro literally is calcing 0.7% differences against me, bro. And then he's going into finals with 8 mons with Toxic and Protect and thinking he's going to take the chip. I can't stand that motherfucker.
We're gonna end this video off here, and if you disagree, as usual, El Bozo, and my God, I'll get out of here. I'll see y'all later.